So it is the beginning of November, which means it's time to talk about what I read in October. Full disclosure, right now I've got notes sitting here of what I read in no particular order because my brain's not working properly. Also, this might end up being in 2 takes because my throat hurts. So here we go. I read The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak, and that was a 5-star read for me. I'm obsessed. I would recommend it to anyone. I might reread it in the future. Another thing that you should know about me is that I don't reread books. That's not a thing that I do so far, but I might reread that one. I'm a sucker for historical fiction, particularly surrounding the Holocaust. I've read a bunch of Pam Jinoff books. I've read also, I am well versed in historical fiction, particularly about the Holocaust. And as much as I love that a lot of the time the story is from a Jewish perspective for, them escaping or what they had to do, their trials and tribulations, I can really, really appreciate and respect that Marcus Zusak put us in the perspective of a little German girl. Effectively, this is a story from Death's perspective, told from the little girl's perspective. So it's Death telling our little girl, her name is Liesel's story, from when she was a young girl during the war, and it's following us through the war, following the perspective of this little girl. And I think a lot of the time people tend to overlook that there were German children. They didn't know why they had to do what they were doing. They didn't know why things were so tense, and they didn't know, they didn't know what was going on. And I think it's really, really refreshing, I use that word sparingly, to see it from a different point of view, because we've gotten all those stories from the Jewish perspective, and I would love to read more from, the innocent Germans' perspectives. We finished reading Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire by J.K. Rowling, which I gave 4 stars. Anyone that's been here for longer than one video knows that Harry Potter is my forever love, and I'm rereading the series with my husband, which has been a really good time. I assume everybody knows, but in case you don't know, Harry Potter is a 7-book series that follows a young wizard as he tries to take down the most evil wizard of all time. In the 4th book, he is entered into a tournament, which he's not supposed to be entered into, by way of dark magic, and we are following him through the trials and tribulations of that process. I read Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood, and I gave it 4 stars. I didn't read the Love Hypotheses. I want to, but I didn't. This is my first one, and honestly, I got it because it was pink. This is following B as she goes to work for NASA, and her partner on the project is her arch nemesis from grad school, which is named Levi, and it's kind of an enemies to lovers type trope. I wouldn't call it that because it's kind of just a gigantic misunderstanding, but whatever. The reason this one didn't get 5 stars for me because it was fast-paced, it was funny, like I laughed out loud a couple of times. It got knocked down an entire star rating for me because the steamy scenes weren't steamy enough, and I hate the unnecessary use of the words like pussy, cock, that kind of thing. So, and I felt that the usage of it in this book was completely unnecessary. I read Thistlefoot by Jenna Rose Nethercott, and I'll be honest, I only gave it 2 stars. It just did not deliver for me the way that I wanted it to. My husband picked this book for me from Book of the Month for the month of October or September, I don't remember. And because he knows lore, so he knows the story of Baba Yaga, and he recognized the Chickenfoot house. That being said, I don't know lore, I don't know anything about the Chickenfoot house, and I still feel that this story really fell flat for me. It was really dense. I feel like the writing was unnecessarily dense. At one point, there's a whole half a page describing a broken cup of it's not even like a character in the story, so it's not relevant information at all for us for this story. I think if I was going to make a recommendation, because I'm the professional, obviously, I would split the story up. I think it could have been 2 or 3 books with the Baba Yaga lore woven in, and that would have delivered a lot better for me. I just felt like it dragged on and on and on. It took way longer than I wanted it to. The writing was dense. It just really did not hit the mark. And for physical books, finally, I read The Cat and Mouse Duet, both of them. For Haunting Adeline, I gave it 4.5 stars. I'm obsessed. That's another one that I might reread again. The reason that it fell flat for me, though, and did not get, I guess fell flat is not the right word, but the reason it didn't get 5 stars for me is that I did not love that we went from one chapter of really, really traumatic, trigger warning type situations into a chapter where Z is, forcing Addie into sexual encounters. I don't want to spoil anything. It just, that kind of didn't sit well with me, and I think that if it was something, if there were situations that triggered me, like actually triggered me, I would have disliked it a lot more, but thankfully that I'm not outwardly triggered by those kind of things. So I knocked it down 1/2 star for that. And then Hunting Adeline, I gave it 4 stars.